What does studio mood actually mean?
We started streaming.
Oh, yeah. I started a little while ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Fuck. I was waiting for the shit to go live.
No, it's
Wait, did I not
always
follow you?
if you don't follow us, I'm kicking you off the podcast right now.
We're about to find out. Is it the 3 Inch Nuggies? This
Oh,
is a bad
Fake
start.
fan. Fake
I know.
fan.
all right. I'm gonna play the intro. Everyone, be quiet. Keith, are you actually following us?
Yeah, I'm following you guys. I don't know
Alright.
why it didn't pop up.
All right. I'm gonna play the intro. Everyone, be quiet. And then I'll come back and introduce you all. Okay, welcome everybody to the 3 Inch Nuggies Podcast. I'm quite happy because I broke the intro earlier, but I fixed it up and it seems to have worked all right. So I'm here today with our usual guests. We got on that side Katie Risha, and on that side Jared333, and a very, very special guest down below, Askeithretreats. How are you, Keith?
Pretty good. How about you, man?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm not hungover today, so it's good.
Excellent.
All right, so
I'm working on that.
yeah. All right, so today, guys, we're doing Supernatural Part 2 because after we finished the last podcast, we realized that we kind of went off on tangents and didn't really even scratch the surface. I'm not going to promise that we won't do the same today. In fact, it's almost guaranteed that we will. But we thought we'd give it another shot. So I'm going to dive straight into it. And Keith, I'm hoping you've got some good opinions and stories, and I'm sure that you do. Guys, if you're not following Keith, I'm just going to say it now. Askeithretreats is his name on Twitch. Please give him a follow. He's fantastic. But let's dive into Supernatural Part 2. So I want to start by talking about, I guess, if you talk about Supernatural, you talk about all things occult, right? And for those that don't know, occult in the broader sense, it's just a category of supernatural beliefs that fall outside the scope of religion. But if you're looking at the two hand in hand, really, religion can be occultish, I guess. I mean, the best way I can put it is, guys, whether you believe in them or not, would you say an angel is supernatural? That's an open question.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you for participating in the podcast, Keith.
See you next week.
Yeah.
I am
Katie,
the new podcast. I am
Katie.
your master.
Katie and Jared, you need to pick your game up. That was an easy question. It was a yes or no answer.
No, but I'm so distracted by how bright I am, and I cannot figure out how to turn it down.
All right,
down
we
the
know who
brightness
the
on your
prima donna is
screen.
now.
I have to almost go get my sunglasses because I am too bright for
We-
myself.
We are professionals.
You don't want to know how bad it is. Like, I have a really cheap monitor that you're on right now, and it's even worse on that than it is. what you're seeing.
Don't give her more shit to worry about, Keith.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't tell her she's
Tearing the
fine.
family apart.
Oh. All right, I'm diving in. I want to ask the first question, and I want everyone to be brutally honest. And I'm going to start with you, Keith, because you're the special guest. Do you believe in religion?
I mean, yeah, religion is a real thing. Do I believe in God? Is that what you mean to ask?
Well, I mean, it's. I guess that's the next part of the question, but yeah, go talk. Tell me, what are your thoughts?
No.
What are your feelings?
No, I think it's just something we make ourselves feel to feel less small in this world, to be honest with you.
That's a good answer. I like that.
What about you, Jared?
Yeah, look, I personally don't believe in a single religion. I'd like to believe that there is something bigger than myself out there, but I have not found any evidence. So, no, basically.
So you're agnostic, is that what it's called? Like where you believe like there's a higher power, but you're not sure what it is?
Yeah, I think I come under that category.
All right.
What about you, Katie?
So the question was, do I believe in religion?
Well, yeah,
Right?
yep.
Well, I think religion definitely exists for the sheer fact that people believe in it. So it exists in that. So I believe in that way it exists, but I don't necessarily think it's true, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, do you believe in God?
I don't believe in a god.
Do you believe in many gods?
No. I don't really know. I haven't really like delved into it, like really thought about it, I guess. I think God is a powerful thing for people to believe in, and I think it helps a lot of people to believe in God.
I feel like it has to have a minimum of arms to be God. So, 2 arms, not God. More arms, we can talk.
Your god is weak unless it has 3 or more arms.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's why I only believe in Vishnu, the elephant god with 8 arms.
He's more powerful than everyone else.
Oh, we're gonna get in trouble for this one. All right, so I guess so if you don't believe in religion, you don't believe in God, and whether you do or not, like that's completely up to you. I'm sort of with Katie. I think the idea of religion is one that can help a lot of people, but it can also hurt. Just like anything, if you take on anything too strongly or in the wrong way, I mean, it's no different than veganism for me. Be a vegan if you want to be a vegan. Save animals if you want to save animals. I'm all about it. But if you want to shove that down my throat, you're just a cunt, and it's that simple. But I think the institution of religion is pretty fucked up. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about supernatural and the occult. So if you don't believe in a god or a higher power, does that mean you don't believe in the occult at all? And that's an open question. Anybody can jump in.
So are you talking about like cults, like as in like cults are like where people follow and like they
Oh
follow
no,
the same guy
occult.
that
Occult, not
Oh.
a cult. It's OCCULT.
all right, explain to me what that is then, because I was definitely thinking we were talking about cults.
Yeah, no,
Cults can be a part of it.
cults exist, and cults are bad, kids. Don't join a cult.
Yeah.
But the occult is basically anything that exists supernaturally outside of religion. So if you think of witches, demons, magic, anything in that sense, that's the occult. So black magic and spells and alchemy and basically anything from those old scriptures that falls outside of the normal religion. Think of it as, I guess, the devil's side of things.
Is it the devil or is it just? I
Can be
mean, like,
anything.
can we believe in like our soul? I mean, obviously we can. It's whatever you really want to fucking believe. But
Yeah.
like like your soul, like your body is a vessel in which your soul inhabits, and once your vessel has diminished and gone away, your soul is what continues to live on. Could it be that? That's what I think about whenever shit happens. Could it be a bad soul? Could it be a good soul? When you have these people that are quote unquote demonic presence and all that. I don't know. I'm a little tipsy. I'm just kind of speaking out my ass.
So you're,
No,
you're
no, I
basically
like it.
talking about the idea that it's a spiritual thing, and it's all to do with like people's spirits and stuff like that. Is that kind of where you're
Well,
getting
yeah,
at?
yeah. I mean, because I mean, to sit here and say, for me to sit here and say, no, I don't believe in supernatural things. I mean, that would be a lie because I mean, I've heard and I've also had things happen to me that were like, oh, what the fuck. So, I mean, the only thing I could explain, is like, I mean, everyone talks about a soul and how we inhabit it and all that. So that's just what I kind of go off of.
Well, I guess that begs the question, and I'll ask you first, Keith, because you're a special guest. So I'm going to ask you first every time.
All right.
What do you think happens after death?
Oh man, that's like the
Yeah.
scary question that no one wants to know unless it's a good fucking answer. I'm to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
nobody wants to hear you're fucked. You're just
Yeah,
fucked.
like
Yeah.
it's a black mist, and you're just kind of there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Don't
would
do me
like to
like
think.
this.
I would like to think that we meet up with our family members and friends and loved ones that we had lost, but I mean, it seemed kind of fishy, like I would have to assume that, like honestly, if anything, I would kind of go along with the lines of what's it called? Like where you kind of like you die and then you're born again. I can't think of the actual word right now.
Reincarnation.
Yeah, reincarnation.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would be a thing. I mean, and I'm kind of one of these people that kind of thinks. Have you ever watched the movie The Matrix?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know how and spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, but what they talk about
It's
in the
been out for
movie
like
is
20 years. If you haven't watched it, crawl out from under your
well,
rock.
yeah, but like at the end of the third movie, they talk about how they've had to relive this same scenario over and over and over again. And have y'all ever had the phenomenon of deja vu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where you've been there before, like maybe we are constantly reliving our lives. Like once we die, we kind of reset, then we go back, and then we kind of fix things or do things a little different to get a little further. Um, I don't know, there's something like that, maybe.
What's the end
Hmm.
game? Like when would we stop doing that? Have you thought this deeply about it, or do you want me to move on to somebody
Oh
else?
no, I've definitely thought this deeply about it. I mean, to me, there might not be an end game. It might just be kind of, kind of something you continuously go through. Unless like it is like the Matrix, and we figure out that machines are running us, and we find a way to get out of the Matrix and destroy the machine.
Be
Even
revolution.
I am
I said that weird.
Morpheus. Jared, what do you think
No,
happens after death?
you're not. I can tell you what I believe and what I wish to happen.
Yeah, go. Give me
So,
both.
the one that I actually believe is this: that's just a black nothingness. You can't think, you are nothing, but you still are kind of there. You just can't do anything, and that sounds horrifying. I hate
That's
it.
terrible. Why would that be a
It's
thing?
that's what I believe actually happens. But what I want to happen
So you're a
was,
consciousness in nothing.
yeah, you don't have
Like
a brain.
the afterlife is torture, basically, is what you're
Well,
saying.
it's not torture because you can't feel anything. It's just nothingness.
But you're aware.
As much as not having a brain is aware.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not a good scenario. It's not.
Just sounds horrible.
Yeah, it does. But what I wish it would be, and what I would like to subscribe to is, I think it's called the, it might come under Gaia theory or something like that, and the idea that basically you die, you become part of something else, and it's like every time a new person is born, it's just pulled from like the sort of spiritual energy from everything else that is sort of gone in that time, and it's like that kind of everything turns to dust and everything's rebuilt again is the simplest analogy for that.
I've heard of that. It's actually a really interesting theory.
Is that Gaia theory? Is that?
I don't know if I'm thinking the same thing you are. I'll talk to mine in a second though. Katie, what do you think happens when you die? Do you think that the world is dark enough that you get your nose back?
I have a nose. It's right here. I'll just contrast one in next time. I don't know. I don't really like. It's not something I've really thought about it. To be honest with you, I'm not scared of death. I'm not looking forward to it. It's just not really on my radar of things to think about. Is that bad? I don't know.
Well, no, I mean it's not bad, but it's so think about it right now. What do you think happens? I know this is completely unresearched, but if I was to say, the exact question, what happens when somebody dies? What do you think? Or if you have no idea, what would you like to happen?
I would like if what I would like to happen is that, you die and then you go to heaven and you hang out with all your friends and shit that have died before, hang out, you have one big old fun time knowing you're dead and just hanging out. But I don't think that's what happens. I think it's just nothingness. Not like what Jared said, where you're sort of floating around in a nothing space with no brain, just hanging out, but just nothingness. It's just black. Nothing.
How depressing.
The end.
Why did we open up with this? All right.
Well, whose choice is this?
I don't know. We kind of just went there.
Yeah.
Jehovah. So, what about you? We've all answered. What do you feel like is going to happen?
Look, I guess what I'd really like to happen is I think it would be really nice if... You know what? I've had a lot of different thoughts about this. One I thought was a really, really nice one that I read about is when you die, you just relive your favorite memory of your life over and over again. But you don't realize you've relived it again. It's just you're there again. So think about like the happiest you've ever been within your life, and you just relive that moment over and over. And that's pretty cool. But what do I...
Unless you've had a shitty life.
Well, everybody's got a happy moment, at least one. At least I'd hope so. If somebody watching doesn't have a happy moment, I'm sorry for you. Please contact us.
Let me give you a hug.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the biggest hug because that's really sad. But what do I think actually happens? If I'm being honest, nothing. I don't think anything. I think you die, you're dead. Your consciousness ceases to be conscious.
So that's like what I said, right?
Yeah, well, it's sort of like what both you and Jared said, except I don't think you're aware because you don't exist. It's like what happened before you were born? Nothing.
Wait a minute. Right. So I'm cutting in. So say nothing happens when you're like what you and me are saying. Nothing happens when you're dead. You're just dead. That's the end. So where do ghosts come from then?
That's a very good question.
You mustn't believe in ghosts.
Oh, called out. Casper would be so upset with you.
Well, this is the end of the podcast, guys. We're done.
Jehovah's doesn't believe in the supernatural. Thank you for coming. No, well, I mean, look, that's I guess where I'm a little bit torn because I don't know if I believe in ghosts specifically, but I think there's too many weird things that happen for there not to be something out there. I don't know if it's ghosts. I don't really know what it is. Like you guys remember the story I told on the last Supernatural podcast where, it was actually my dad and he saw his auntie and had a chat with her after she'd already passed away. And then when he got told she'd passed away, he was like, what the fuck? I was just talking to her. And, my old man, as I said, would never let the truth get in the way of a good story, but this is not something he'd bullshit about, if that makes sense. What about you guys? Do you believe in ghosts? I mean, do you have any personal stories?
That's you, Keith.
Oh, God.
Well, J-Red, did you want to go first?
J-Red looks so sad. Like, oh.
J-Rad,
so
you go ahead and
excited.
go, bud. You go ahead and go.
I was just gonna say, like, I actually like wish ghosts were real. Imagine like having a cool ghost friend, just chilling with. That'd be awesome.
You gotta watch more horror movies, dude. Then get back to me.
No, if I watch more horror movies, the ghosts are evil and they hate me, and that's not the narrative I want. I want Casper. Casper's the only horror movie I've seen.
Casper's not even okay. Keith,
I mean, all right. So I've Jesse, like, so Jesse Mussie, the guy in the chat right now.
That
Whenever I
guy.
was living over, yeah, whenever I was living over at his place, the place that he stays, there's like a cemetery on it, like not too far away from it. Um, but we had a few things that were kind of weird and like supernatural, and I mean, maybe it could be explained. Maybe something happened, where maybe we did something we just so happened to forget about it. But like he had like his grandfather's ashes in like a small like urn, like very very small, like and it was on like a wind catcher or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But it had randomly hung itself up without him doing it, because we like when he moved into that area or to that place, we had all moved in at the same time. Um, so it wasn't just something that just randomly got put up on us like out of nowhere. So that was weird. And at that same place, I used to have very bad, like very bad, what's it called, sleep paralysis. Um, yeah,
Damn.
where I would be like stuck in my bed and like the door would be open and I would see something come running at me. And I'm not able to move. Like, so let me so to explain it to you, I was at the very end of the house. And where my door was like at the very end of the hallway. So my door, I like when my bed was kind of facing to where if you were to lay to your side, you can look straight out the hallway. And I was kind of laying down on my side like that, and I fell asleep like that. Um, but yeah, like the door was open. I woke up and there was something running at me, and I couldn't move. And then the second time I had sleep paralysis, I had a TV that was up, and right in front of it there was like something that was holding a sign and that was like smiling very creepily.
What did the sign
no.
say?
That's creepy as. What
Oh,
did
he
the
just
sign
put
say?
something in his. I can't remember. I can't remember. It's been so long. He hang on. He posted a comment. He said, "Bro, remember when we were coming in the house and we heard someone knocking from the inside? The door was closed and locked. Someone fucking knocked from the inside. Yes, yes. I get shivers every time.
Jesus.
Yes, like this house. Like I'm assuming it's because of the actual burial ground that was actually like not too far away from the like this place is like fucking weird. And
Did you
then
call the ghost
Elena,
hunters?
no, we didn't. And then Elena,
Damn.
she actually had something happen to her in this place too. We were all outside, dogs and everything, and like she was going, like she had went inside to go grab a drink, and she heard a growl in her ear. Yeah, like as if a dog or something was in her ear. And she like thought that maybe like one of the dogs were coming back. And at the time, I believe we had two in the like around the house, but they were both outside at the time.
No, thank you.
Yeah, she didn't tell me about that until after I had already moved out of there because she was so freaked out by it.
That
God
shit's
damn.
scary. That shit. Well,
Yeah.
so, and like you're not the only one, Keith. A lot of people have these experiences. What
hmm
What do you think it is? Do you think it's like ghosts? And if so,
See,
what do you think ghosts are? Are they
well,
human
and
spirits or?
it's kind of like to me, it's kind of like there's some that are like I could like, all right, maybe this is real. And then there's some that are like, all right, maybe this guy has a mental disorder that might not be diagnosed yet, where they might hear some shit, you know. Um, but some of it, I mean, the only thing I can think of is, when we die, our spirits are out floating around, and some of them are fucking assholes.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting theory. Like is that it? It's like this body. This is one form of consciousness, and then if you die, you leave your body, and then it's another form of consciousness. But then I don't know. How do you think all that works? Why do you think like why do you think people don't interact with other people after they die? Or more, they do, because this sort of shit happens, but like, let's imagine I was to pass away. Why don't I get in touch with my friends and family members and be like, hey, I'm still around, or can I not?
Well, and maybe it's not necessarily the person that's trying to get in touch, or because like how like supposedly kids can like see people that are dead. Maybe
Mm.
maybe we become so. I mean, I can't think of a good word for it. I'm just gonna go with like what's it called? Um, Either way, maybe you
Are
just
you talking
become
about
so.
seances? Like trying to contact the dead? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, not even that, but like how like kids are able to like there's so many stories where like kids are able to like see something that's not there.
They've got like
Or
that
at least
sixth sense.
yeah, maybe we lose touch with that as we get older.
Okay.
You know what? That kid having the kids having the sixth sense thing. My old workplace, they always used to fuck around with the new staff saying it was haunted and there was like whatever. Anyway, I swear to you that place was haunted because down where the babies used to hang out, at least like once or twice a week, there would be some baby who would just sit there staring at the corner laughing. Like it used to happen all the time and it was really scary. And that's all I have to say.
That is creepy, but when you said babies hanging out, all I could picture was a group of like 6 babies all wearing leather jackets and having a cigarette and one of them flipping a coin. Like just this evil gang of 50s babies just hanging out.
Greaser babies.
Greaser babies. All right, so if I mean, because we're sort of looking at like ghosts and stuff like that, what do you think of those TV shows, those ghost hunter TV shows? Do you reckon they're real or they're bullshit?
I reckon they're phonies.
All right. So I got something for you on this one because I actually worked on a house. Like, so I do pest control, out here where I live, and out here we have a few producers, and the guy that actually
Keith
works,
is
like, he
actually a
produces.
Ghostbuster.
No, I wish I would love to meet the guy, but the guy that actually produces the Ghost Adventures, he lives out here where I live, and I got to work on his house, and I was like, so be honest with me, how much of it's BS? And he's like, you'd be surprised. Now, I do think that they probably, that what's the worst word? Like dramatize it, like, oh, like I heard something, oh, and then like they fall
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and
yeah.
damn near break their back. But um, I mean, maybe some of them. Now I watched this one, and I mean, it was god awful. I think guys were wearing like the most luxurious fucking pants and everything. Like they had like the damn bag around their thing, and it was actually on like an actual channel. And the guy just falls back, runs into the damn door out of nowhere. I'm like, you're bullshitting, bro.
What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, I think that stuff's definitely played up. Now, those things that they catch on camera, I think they are things that like sort of do happen, but they play it up to be like, oh my God, there's this super scary thing happening when it's really just like someone dropped their phone or something like that.
Well, I think it's even simpler than even people dropping their phone. Like if I'm say laying in my house going to bed, I hear creaks and different stuff, and like my house is a pretty new house. It was only built a few years ago, but it's just the house. Like wind and shit will move the house, and there'll be different creaks and stuff like that. And if you can be whatever you want it to be. If you want it to be footsteps, that's what your brain will hear. It's sort of like when you hear people chanting in a crowd, right? And you guys might have seen these TikToks where be people chanting in a crowd, and there's 5 different things. Wait, that's 5. 5 different things they could be saying, and it all listed out. And depending on which one you're reading, is which one your brain hears. And my point behind this is, I think if you want to hear something or you want to interpret something, you absolutely do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like there's been plenty of times like where you get yourself so nervous, so worked up that you like freaked out about something. You you imagine it happening, and it felt like the brain is so powerful that it'll make you believe that that's exactly what happened.
Mm.
So I mean, I could definitely see that being the case.
Yeah, confirmation bias. That's
Yeah.
the
So-
literal name of it. Like, if you're looking for something, you'll find it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I did want to tell y'all a story, which
Ooh.
is like the main reason why I wanted to come on the Supernatural
All right,
podcast.
I'm getting comfy. I'm getting comfy. I'm here. I'm
Alright,
in.
So this one had nothing to do with me. This is all word of mouth, but it came from a family friend that would not BS about it. It actually happened to her and her family. She had a daughter. So it's her husband, and her daughter. They lived at a house out close to where I live, a little like one city over, basically. So they were at this house and they had their daughter. The daughter was about 2 years old. And she was like always acting weird. Like she would be like going up into corners talking to someone as if someone was there. They would like the blinds on like they had like that the back door where it's like a sliding glass door. The blinds that go on that, they would just instantly open up out of nowhere. TVs and all that would come on randomly. But one night, she had she had woken up and there was something standing over her bed. Yeah, and like it didn't have a face. Her husband, like, and just to just to go over some other things, her husband was always in a bad mood. Their marriage was on the downfall. Like he was always mad about something, always upset. Um, so they finally like all this crazy stuff was happening. So they finally decided to move. Well, a few like after they moved, probably a few years later, like the husband was like talking to her, like, "Did you ever see that guy? This particular guy?" And she's like, "Yeah, I saw him over our bed once." And he was like, "Well, he had talked to, or she was talking to her about. He's like, well, he had asked me to do bad things to y'all. He was like, yeah, he was like
Nope.
the guy had told me to kill you guys, or like I ain't gonna say necessarily that, but like hurt you guys. That's basically how he said it. And after that, he wouldn't
In
even
the
talking about it.
Amityville house? Is that what it was?
It was kind of like
True story.
it was kind of like that, but I believe the house that they were on was on an actual Indian burial ground, though.
No.
You guys gotta
Yeah.
stop messing with the Indians. That's fucked up.
Well, I mean, they didn't know it. It's just, I guess someone might have built. I mean, there's so many unmarked graves out here. There's no way for you to know. But like that, I mean, it was a legitimate story. The lady, like, she wouldn't. I mean, she had no reason to lie about that. But like, that was one thing. That's the one part that gives me shivers here. Like, he like explained the person and like down to a T. And I'm probably telling the story bad. She could tell you that perfectly, but down to it. Like he explained it to her, and she was like, "Yeah, I saw that." And then he was like, "Yeah, well, that person had asked me to hurt you guys." And then once they moved out, like everything got better for them. Like the kids quit acting weird. She kept, things weren't moving and turning on when they weren't supposed to. So
That is terrifying as fuck.
That is fucking creepy. That
Oh,
is.
yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I just
I'm
looked
so
something
glad
up.
you came on.
Did you know that in Australia we don't have Indian burial grounds?
Just give me a minute. Just give me. Please tell me that is a joke.
Yes.
Yeah, I really,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
That was a bit.
Okay.
I was just gonna stay quiet about it, honestly. I was like,
Yeah, no. And look, the sad thing is, Keith, we never know if he's joking or not. This is even right now. He could not be joking. Oh Jesus! All right.
Jesus.
So, on that sort of topic and how, these I guess hauntings. I want to talk about movies and like hauntings you see in movies. I'm not talking about like Chucky or shit like that, but ones that are actually based on a true story and they take their liberties and they dramatize it, as they probably do in the Ghost Hunter shows. But how much do you think of it as true? I mean, Katie, you've probably watched more horror movies than I have, so I'm going to start with you.
Yes. What was the question?
Oh my god.
No, you asked the question.
He did. He did.
The question.
Yeah.
Oh my god! All right.
We are professional.
Oh, how much is so when?
Who I think is real.
How much do you think is real in these horror movies? How much do you think is just dramatization? And when they say based on a true story, how much of it do you think is true?
Well, I think it really depends on the movie.
Well,
And it
talk
really,
us through what
I
you
mean,
know.
well, there's the whole Annabelle, right?
Mm.
There's the whole story of Annabelle, and there's the movies about Annabelle. Annabelle, there is a doll called Annabelle. That is a thing. It's locked up in the Warrens' little museum of horrors. Um, so I think the doll's real, and the movie's based on the doll, but I'm not entirely sure the whole story behind it is 100% truthful or real. I
Well,
think
sorry.
you go.
No, I was just gonna tell you like the doll, like the one that's like in the movies is way over exaggerated because all it is like a little like Raggedy Ann doll or something like that.
The original Annabelle, in my opinion, the original Annabelle doll, the Raggedy Ann doll, is way more fucking scary than the movie version. That
Mm.
thing's like got dead eyes. It's fucked. Anyway,
What do you think of the people that keep those like porcelain dolls around their house?
can
Yeah,
I tell you?
that's
Can
just
I
They're
tell
scary as
you?
Fuck
fuck.
them. Oh, fuck them. That's all I
Let
have
me
to
Yeah.
say.
Mm.
I
let
have
me
to go
tell
stay
you.
the night, and they always put it in the guest bedroom. They
Yeah.
always
Yes.
fucking do it. Oh man, like you got these, like it's like, oh, you're being watched, man.
When
Sorry,
I
go
was
ahead.
when I was 7 years old, my cousins were babysitting me and my brother, and they made us watch Scream and this movie called Dolls, right? And I just remember this one part of the movie where this chick flicks off her doona and all these porcelain dolls are like under the bed, and anyway they brutally murder her, and I was 7 years old. Anyway, I think my parents' idea of some kind of sick joke was to put porcelain dolls in my bedroom, and I still am so deathly fucking afraid of these things. And I reckon every night, almost every night for like a year, I would wake up in the middle of the night, creep over to this little porcelain doll thing that was in like this plastic box thing. Like, it was fucked. And I would see my brother, he knows, and then I would tap on the side of the case
Did it ever
and
tap
just
back?
no. And I was like,
I
what the
wanted to
fuck
ask
is
that.
wrong with me? What the fuck is now as an adult, I would never fucking do that. I would just burn the goddamn thing to the ground. But yeah, and I would have nightmares and nightmares and nightmares about this fucking doll. And then I kept getting them. I think I had like 3 dolls. And that's my story.
Do you think we get more biased towards this sort of stuff as we grow older? Like, you talk about how kids, we were talking before, almost may have a better sense for it. And, you gave the story, Katie, about the baby laughing. And, like, I feel like if any of us saw some sort of ghost or apparition right now, we'd probably shit our pants. Whereas if a child saw it, and it wasn't, scary or anything, it was just there, they probably wouldn't. Do you think we're less susceptible to seeing this shit because we are scared of it and don't want to see it?
I think some
I
people are just more in tuned.
No, I think it's come down to what we see in the media. Like, kids don't watch horror movies. They don't see the bad things that can happen from evil spirits. They don't have that, as you were saying, bias.
Hmm. What about
You
What
tell
do you
that to
animals?
reckon?
7-year-old me.
What about animals, though? Because I feel like animals have this sense that humans don't have, and it could be spirits or anything. But if you think about, there's plenty of stories of, like, say, a dog, right? Staring at the wall and barking, and you're like, "What's wrong with you, Fido?" But Fido's got something wrong. But animals also have this sense of, they can sense when shit's about to go down. Like, they know bad shit's about to happen. All the times in all those sorts of movies where the world's ending, you see birds fucking flying away and the animals running away, and everyone's like, why? What's going on? And then bam, something bad fucking happens. But that's actually,
Cthulhu.
but it's actually true. I don't know about Cthulhu. But
No, I don't think any birds would even be around at all.
no,
Isn't he in the ocean?
yeah, good input.
Yeah, thanks, man. I worked hard on that bit.
Yeah, I definitely trust the fact that dogs and things like that are more susceptible to things. Like, I trust my dogs. Do you know what I mean? If I hear my dogs barking, especially the big one, I know something's up. And that was like that time where I was home alone and Domino was she was barking at the room I'm in now before I did all this to it. She was barking at it and I was just like, what the fuck? I'm home alone. And she was going crazy barking at this room and I was so scared. And I was alone and I was scared, so I grabbed a rolling pin. And then I opened the door and I seriously almost shit myself. But all it was just I had a leak in the roof, which was scary. But that's my story. But I trust what?
She grabbed the damn rolling pin.
Well, I didn't know what I said. Okay, so my
Man,
thought
if you
behind that
knew
was-
Katie, you wouldn't fuck with her when she's got a
All
rolling
from
pin.
fucking. She's like the grandma from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
All right, no,
Amazing.
I had a theory behind the rolling pin, and that was because I'm not a very strong person. So if I grabbed a knife and there's something in there, they could quite easily overpower me, and I don't want to get stabbed. But I thought getting hit with a rolling pin wouldn't be so bad, so I grabbed. Yeah.
That was great logic. That was beautiful.
It makes sense.
I love it. Yeah, no, I'm not. No, it was great logic. It was just funny that you went for the rolling pin.
I wouldn't have thought that much sense about it. Like, you've actually thought that out, and that's
Yeah,
incredible.
I have crippling anxiety, guys, so my mind goes a million miles a second. So I have a lot of time to think. It's fast. Moving on.
All right. So, Keith, something you said earlier about, when we pass on, you're talking about reincarnation. So, do you believe in reincarnation?
I mean, I would like to believe so. I mean, just based off like the fact that we have deja vu, where there's so many scenarios where we feel like we're reliving them. That's why I would believe in it. I mean, just because it happened to me so much, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's just coincidence, like, oh, it's something that looks similar that happened. But I had it happen to me in the Philippines, which I had never seen before, never been in a van that was like this in the Philippines. And in my dream or the deja vu, a truck had rear-ended us, and it was like a big ass semi truck and killed us all. So, and then I turn around and look, and that same truck is coming right towards us, but thankfully it stopped. But I almost had a fucking panic attack because of it. But sorry, I got kind of off track there. But yeah,
No,
that's
that's some Final Destination shit. That's interesting
Yeah.
as fuck.
Yeah, but that's why it makes me think that reincarnation is a thing, and it's not even the fact that our soul moves on to something else, like a tree or to a plant or to like another living thing. It's maybe reliving the same life over and over and over again.
That's interesting. I mean, because there's also these stories, right? You have of these kids who, I remember seeing one. It was this little girl, and when her parents would drive by this, no, they wouldn't even drive by it. She had a picture or something of this lighthouse, and she saw this picture of this lighthouse, and she's like, I used to live there. And their parents are like, you're 6 years old. You didn't fucking live anywhere. What are you talking about? And she's like, no, I used to live there. I used to live there. And they tracked down where the lighthouse was, and they took her there. And she walked up to the front door and like let herself in and walked in. She's like, my bed was there, and and she could point shit out that was going to be in the house before she'd walked into the room, and she'd never been there before. And she'd be like, oh, there's this kind of wallpaper in the living room. And they'd walk in that had that kind of fucking wallpaper, and they're like, how in the fuck did you know that? And she's like, I used to live here, and it's just unexplainable. And I mean, I don't know if that's reincarnation or what, but it sort of sounds like it. It's like in a past life, you were there. And then I think they looked up, and there was like the curator or something of the lighthouse had died the year she was born.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like how the fuck do you explain that?
God damn. God damn.
I know I asked a question that doesn't really have an answer because everybody's like, I don't know how the fuck you explain that, but it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting to
Do it.
me.
Explain it.
I would like to believe in reincarnation, but I do one theory I've heard about that I thought was really, really interesting is if you look at the entire universe, and it's going to sound a bit hippie-ish, but if you look at the entire universe, it's all connected through sound and frequency. And every living thing is connected in a way that, how do I put it without sounding like a fucking psychopath? But, like we're all one being, right? So it's, if I live or I die, it doesn't matter because it's all part of one greater existence. And my brother actually had, it was a really eye-opening experience for him. He went to South America and he had ayahuasca, which is like basically this really potent fucking hallucinogenic. Where he probably shouldn't have done it. Like you can die from this hallucinogenic. But he had this experience where he at first thought he was dying, and he was dying, and he was dying, and he was being covered in cicadas, and they were just humming. Yeah, and he was like freaking the fuck out, and then he realized what he needed to do was stop freaking out because he was going to die, and just stop and let everything take over. And he then felt his body humming at the same frequency that the cicadas were making. And when he let go and he did that, he was like, I then realized I was part of something bigger than me. And he goes, that actually really helped all of my negativity and all of my self-doubt, I guess, melt away because I'm part of something bigger. And I just thought that was a really interesting experience. He could be full of shit. And he's known to spin a yarn or two, but it's just a really interesting way of looking at, reincarnation, because it's not I die and I go into now I'm a tree or now I'm a baby. It's we're all one big, I guess, I don't even know how to put it, but I'm sort of, I don't know, I've run out of the ways I can explain it.
Goosebumps. Actual goosebumps. That's crazy.
Really? Or are you just saying that?
No, I'm not joking this time.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
I just posted a photo in the Discord I just remembered I went on a ghost tour in Launceston in Tasmania, and I just posted a photo from the ghost tour. Just have a look at it. Tell me what you think. Anytime.
I remember you telling me about that.
I just remembered it, and I had to find the photo, but I found it, and it's there. Take a look.
Right now?
Well,
Just whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Stop everything?
Yeah, okay, hang on, guys. We're stopping the podcast. We're going to go check the Discord.
Wait, where?
I forgot what we're talking about now.
Where did you post it to?
It'd be in the just
Just
chatting.
All right.
If I can throw it up for you guys right now, I would, but I can't. So if you're watching on Twitch, go to the Discord right now. You'll be able to see it. If you're watching on YouTube, still go to the Discord right now, and you'll be able to see it. Just might have to scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a bunch of orbs in it. Or possibly just dust. Those too thick to be dust.
So, what we were talking about, J-Rad, was supernatural. We've been talking about it for 49 minutes.
Why didn't no one tell me about this?
Where have I been? All right, so coming towards the end, I usually have a question for each of you. I want to know, and I'm making this up on the spot because I forgot to prepare one. So I want to know, and I'm going to start with you, Keith. What is the scariest experience you've either heard of or experienced yourself? And what is the nicest experience you've either heard of or experienced yourself?
Actually, can we come to me last? I got to think about this.
All right.
Don't do Jared next.
Don't
Uh,
don't do
what?
Jared next.
Go do Jared next.
Okay, J-Rad, do you want to go?
No, this is a really difficult one. I am like thinking of it right now. I can't think of an actual supernatural event that has actually happened to me. I've heard stories from other people, but I've never really given it much weight in the
Mm.
sense like, oh, it's just a good story, you know, something that people talk about. But I can't think of an actual event that's ever happened that I would actually chalk up to supernatural.
So does it have to be supernatural, or can it just be anything?
What do you mean?
Like, can it like just be anything that's happened to you that like was super fucking scary?
Well, I guess it can be anything. I mean, all right. So
All right,
I'll.
I got something for you whenever you're ready. Whenever
All
you get done.
right. Go. No, you go, kid.
All right. This is back when I was probably 20 or 21, probably 20 because I don't think I was drinking at the time. But I was driving home from work. Either that, no, or I might have been going to a girlfriend's house at the time. But it was on this one road where it's like 2 lanes on each side, and then there's like a grass median, which like in the median oh, I'm sorry, burped. Where you like can like are able to turn around randomly, but there's no like spot for you to like kind of get over and get out of the way, so you just kind of make everyone stop with you. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just remember I was kind of like off in days, but I was looking over to my right, which is kind of in a field, but it had like trees kind of like where you can kind of like disrupts the view. And I just remember looking over at the field and I saw a black horse, but it was like it didn't look right. So I just remember looking, I was like, huh. I was like, I better look forward. Something's about to happen. I remember I looked forward and the cars had stopped in front of me, but I was still going 50 miles an hour, and had to slam on the brakes before I ended up killing myself and rear-ending the shit out of this car. Um,
Yeah.
God damn.
yeah, but I just like that's what like it isn't the scariest, but if we're going to go off supernatural,
Mm.
I remember going back there and I never saw a black horse again. Um, but that would probably be the worst one. Best one is probably. And I don't know if it's supernatural or if it's just, like my brain playing tricks, but, I've had friends die and like, oh, well, all right, no, I do have a really good supernatural one. Actually, now that I think about it, my buddy Austin, he had passed away in a car accident. And the day after his funeral, I had to go back to work. I do pest control, and this random like butterfly, it kind of came around me, which was real. But it was like flying circles around me, and then landed on this leaf, like literally where the sun was just beaming down on it. The fucking weirdest thing. And I'll post it to the Discord if I can find it. But I was able to take a photo of it, and I was also able to touch it and like pet its back before it went away and flew away. And I really and Austin, he had like the reason why the butterfly was so significant with him was he had a butterfly tattoo on his thigh. Um, so I definitely felt like that was him showing like his way of like I'm okay. It's time for me to move on.
That's a really
But
cool
if I,
story.
yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find the photo and I'm gonna send it to the Discord.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What about?
I actually have
Yeah, go.
a story similar to that. So I don't know, it's like a happy, it's a sad story, but it's sort of the same thing. Whereas like I had a friend who I worked with, she became a really close friend of mine, and she ended up passing away from cancer. And I'm very blessed in a way that I haven't experienced a lot of death in my life. So I think that was only a few years ago, and it hit me pretty hard. So I was an absolute mess. And anyway, the day of her funeral came, and then I went to her funeral, and I was just like, I was not okay. Like, I was really sad and I was upset. And then I just remember as I was driving home, like, and I don't even remember it raining that day, which was really weird. But as I was driving home, there was this big rainbow like above my house, and that was I don't know, that meant something to me because she always used to say to me, after a storm comes a rainbow. And 'cause
Oh.
she always used to say that to me because I always would, anyway, doesn't matter the backstory behind it. But anyway, she used to say that to me, and I just felt instantly calmed by it. And I was like, okay, thanks, man. And yeah, I'm not a very good storyteller.
No, that was good. That was really good.
No, it was really
That
good.
was good.
Hey,
I was gonna say I've got a story now.
Can I interrupt you right before you start? Because I don't want to interrupt you in the
Yeah,
middle.
go. Yeah, I'll go after you.
I posted the picture to the Just Chatting in the Nuggies Discord.
Oh,
If you
awesome.
want to check it out.
Awesome. Everybody go there, have a look at all the pictures we're putting on. Oh no, Keith left.
Oh no.
Hang on, I'll try and bring him back. He jumped into
You hit
another
the
channel.
wrong button.
He did. That's all right. We're bringing him back.
I mess up.
You putting your camera on
Fixed.
again? Awesome. We're good now. We're good. All right, we brought him. We'll edit that out later. That's fine.
No, probably won't. Probably won't.
No, we won't. I'm too lazy for that. All right, J-Rad, you got a story?
So
Yeah.
I wasn't actually sure if I would have considered this supernatural, but considering some of the other stories that have come up today, I might actually put it up to that. So, for those that know me, I actually work at a supermarket. It's one of the bigger chains in Australia. And there was one fateful day where we were actually robbed at knife point
Wow.
at the store. Now, obviously, I don't work at where the registers are. I'm a manager, so I sort of, drift between places at any given time. But I was actually supposed, at the time that we were being robbed, I was actually supposed to be up the front of the store where the service people were. What stops me was that I was trying to move a pallet out the back, a big pallet of oak, and it just seemed to have randomly fallen over. Like half the stock went all over the place, and you can't leave it like that. You've got to clean it up before you go. So before, when service called me up to go to them, I was like, "Oh, look, give me a second. I'm gonna go clean this up, and then I'll come straight down." By the time we got there, the robbers had already been and gone.
Wow.
So I feel like that and it would, the way that the stock fell off, it was unnormal. Like that way that it fell, like it just didn't seem right. And
Yeah,
I think that was actually like some sort of spirit trying to protect me or something like that.
Is that not crazy? Like how certain shit like that happens. So like where you were supposed to be in there at that exact certain time and place, but something happens where you don't go. Like here, like in the United States, like 9/11 happened. And there were so many people that were supposed to get on like the flights or were supposed to go to those twin towers and shit like that weren't able, like something happened, they weren't able to make it, they weren't able to go in and were able to survive.
I remember seeing an interview with one guy who said Monday Night Football saved my life because he stayed up watching Monday Night Football. Because of that, slept in, woke up, went to get in his car for work, and it had already happened. And he worked he worked on the floor that the plane hit.
God damn.
And he was like Monday Night Football saved my life, and like that's just insane.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different stories like that, of people that weren't supposed to, like, that were supposed to be there somehow not ending up being like that.
I guess so. I guess I'll give my story. It's not one that's actually happened to me, but this one happened to my mum, and it always sort of stuck with me. So her dad passed away when she was about 15, and her dad used to love black cockatoos. Like just loved them. He was like, I love these birds. They're amazing. And the day he passed away, and like they were in the hospital, and he passed away, and they were like, okay, and went home. The back trees of her house were covered. You couldn't see a leaf. Were just covered in black cockatoos. And similar to Katie's story with the rainbow, she was like, I just felt comforted. Like that was his way of saying goodbye.
No,
I love that.
Whew,
it's cute.
how emotional.
Mm.
All right, well, look, I think that wraps up everything we were going to talk about. I think we've covered Supernatural a little bit better than we did in part 1. We definitely talked about some awesome experiences, and we had the gorgeous Keith on to share this experience with us. So, Keith, thank you for coming onto the podcast. He's muted himself, but I'm sure he's saying it was the best experience of his life.
I was just
No,
talking about like, God, how much I hate hearing your voice. No, I'm just kidding.
Stay muted. We'll caption it and
Yeah.
we'll tell the people what you say.
Yeah, I'll just like I continuously to like talk, and you can just put words. Just keep going and just do the words for me.
I was
It'll
just
be
going to
great.
do one of those really awful dubs, like really bad English dubbing over the top of him. I thought that'd be good.
No, I wanted to say thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. It was fun. I absolutely miss you guys. I
Miss
hope y'all
you.
can. I
Yeah,
hope
I
that
miss
y'all
you
can
too.
stream more whenever like this everything like calms down for you guys. But it was awesome. It was fun.
Nah, it's been awesome
Thank you
having
so
you
much,
on,
Keith.
and I know I definitely need to stream more. I've just been lazy, and Jared, you're probably the same as me, so yeah. All right, guys.
What's the saying go? How's the saying go? While you're planning, life's happening.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, well, I'm not even planning. I'm just sleeping, so I've got to get out of that habit. It's winter here, and we're in lockdown, so there's not much to do. But I could be streaming, and I will try harder for you guys.
We've pretty much become bears. Like we just sleep and eat.
We're hibernating and getting fat.
Yeah.
Definitely check out the Discord though, because my brother just posted a video of something that happened at the same place I took that photo of too.
That's very cool. All right, well, I'm going to wrap up the podcast. So what we do here is we say goodbye to the lovely, the beautiful Katie Risher, the gorgeous Jared33, and the absolute apple of my eye, Askeithretreats. So, guys, it has been fun. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to play the outro, and then we'll see you in a second.